Imagine waking up in the dead of night, a strange tingling in your nose, a crawling sensation you can't shake. You brush it off, thinking it's nothing, until it moves again. Then suddenly you feel an unbearable headache. In Chennai, India, a woman named Selvi faced a nightmare unlike any other. A live cockroach was found deep inside her skull, dangerously close to her brain. What happened next? Was it removed in time, or did this bizarre horror take a deadly turn? Stay with us to uncover a true story that will leave you speechless. In the vibrant yet chaotic city of Chennai, India, life moves at a relentless pace. For many, survival is a daily grind, especially in places like Injambakkam, a coastal suburb where poverty casts a long shadow. This is where Selvi, a 42-year-old domestic worker, called home. Selvi's life was one of resilience, shaped by hardship and determination. She spent her days cleaning homes, scrubbing floors, and washing dishes for families wealthier than her own. Each morning, she rose before dawn, navigating the crowded streets to provide for her family. Injambakkam, though close to the shimmering waters of the Bay of Bengal, is far from a paradise. The area is known for its cramped living conditions, with homes often lacking proper sanitation. Open drains and piles of uncollected garbage are a common sight, attracting pests like rats, flies, and cockroaches. For Selvi, living in such an environment was just part of life. Her small, modest home, shared with her family, was a place of love, but also struggle. The walls were thin, the roof leaked during monsoons, and the ever-present pests were an unwelcome reality. Selvi was no stranger to adversity. As a domestic worker, her income was meager, barely enough to cover food and basic needs, yet she carried on, her spirit unbroken. She was a mother, a wife, and a pillar of strength for her family, but nothing could have prepared her for the night that would turn her world upside down. A night that would thrust her into a medical mystery so bizarre, it would shock even the most seasoned doctors. It was a Tuesday night in Chennai, the air heavy with the humidity of the coastal city. After a grueling day of work, Selvi collapsed into bed, exhausted. Her small home in Injambakkam was quiet, save for the distant hum of the city and the occasional scuttle of pests in the shadows. She fell into a deep sleep, unaware that something sinister was about to unfold. Around midnight, a strange sensation jolted her awake. It was a tingling in her right nostril, like something was moving inside. At first, she dismissed it as a minor irritation, perhaps a speck of dust or a fleeting itch. She tried to brush it off, still half asleep, her hand fumbling in the darkness. But then, it happened again. A distinct, crawling feeling deep inside her nose. Her heart began to race. This wasn't dust, this wasn't an itch. Something was alive inside her. Panic set in. Selvi woke her son-in-law, her voice trembling as she described the sensation. She could feel it moving, a foreign presence that sent shivers down her spine. Desperate for help, they rushed to the nearest clinic, a small, dimly lit facility in the neighborhood. The doctor there shone a torch into her nose, his face creasing with confusion. He made a few calls, consulted with colleagues, but admitted he was out of his depth. "I can't help you," he said, referring her to another hospital. At the second clinic, the diagnosis was no clearer. The doctor suggested it might be a skin growth, dismissing the crawling sensation as a trick of the mind. But Selvi knew better. "I could not explain the feeling, but I was sure it was an insect," she later recalled. Every time it moved, a burning sensation shot through her eyes, a pain so intense it kept her awake through the night. She sat up, clutching her face, waiting for dawn, to seek help from a place she trusted, Government Stanley Medical College Hospital. By morning, Selvi was exhausted but determined. With the help of a doctor's reference from her employer, she arrived at Stanley Medical College Hospital, one of Chennai's most respected government facilities. The hospital was a beacon of hope for people like Selvi, who couldn't afford private care. But even here, the doctors were unprepared for what they were about to discover. In the ENT department, Dr. M.N. Shankar, a seasoned specialist with over 3 decades of experience, took on Selvi's case. The team decided to perform a nasal endoscopy, a procedure that involves inserting a thin, flexible tube with a camera into the nasal cavity. As the endoscope's light illuminated the dark recesses of Selvi's nose, the doctors froze. There, lodged between her eyes, dangerously close to the base of her skull, was a cockroach, and it was alive. Selvi's story is not just about a medical anomaly. It's a glimpse into the realities of life for millions in places like Injambakkam. Her home, like many in the area, was a breeding ground for pests due to poor sanitation and overcrowding. Cockroaches, a common nuisance, thrived in the open drains and uncollected garbage piles that dotted her neighborhood. For Selvi, these conditions were a fact of life, but they set the stage for this extraordinary incident. As a domestic worker, Selvi's days were long and grueling. She worked tirelessly to support her family, often returning home to a place where basic comforts were scarce. The irony is stark. While she cleaned the homes of others, her own environment posed unseen risks. This incident, as bizarre as it was, highlights the vulnerabilities faced by those living in poverty, where even a common pest can become a life-threatening invader. After 45 minutes of intense effort, the doctors faced the moment of truth. Had they managed to remove the cockroach without causing harm? Was Selvi safe from the threat of infection? Or had the insect's presence already set a dangerous chain of events in motion? The outcome of this bizarre, true story is one that will leave you questioning the fragility of life and the resilience of the human spirit. Dr. Shankar couldn't believe his eyes. "This is the first such case I have seen in my 3 decades of practice," he later said. The cockroach, large and still moving, was nestled in one of the most precarious places imaginable, near the brain, between Selvi's eyes. The doctors had seen their share of unusual cases, from maggots to houseflies in patients' noses, but a live cockroach in the skull base? This was unprecedented. The situation was dire. If the cockroach died inside Selvi's nasal cavity, it could decompose, triggering a severe infection. Such an infection could spread rapidly to her brain, causing catastrophic damage or even death. Every moment mattered. The doctors knew they had to act fast, but the cockroach's location made the procedure incredibly challenging. Could they remove it in time, or was Selvi's life hanging in the balance? Removing a live cockroach from such a delicate area was no simple task. The insect was lodged in a narrow space, surrounded by sensitive tissues and dangerously close to Selvi's brain. The doctors used a combination of suction and forceps, carefully maneuvering to avoid damaging the surrounding areas. It was difficult to remove because of where it was sitting, Dr. Shankar explained. I had to drag it to a place where I could pull it out. For 45 agonizing minutes, the medical team worked with precision. Selvi, awake during the procedure, endured the discomfort as the doctors battled to extract the intruder. The cockroach was still alive, its legs twitching as it was pulled from its hiding place. Every second felt like an eternity. If the doctors made a wrong move, the consequences could be devastating. Would they succeed, or would this bizarre nightmare take a tragic turn? As the procedure unfolded, Selvi's mind must have raced with fear and uncertainty. Living in Injambakkam, she was no stranger to insects, but to have one invade her body in such a horrifying way was unimaginable. Her life, already marked by struggle, now hung in the balance of this unprecedented medical challenge. The doctors, too, were under immense pressure, knowing that a single misstep could change everything. Selvi's ordeal reminds us how unpredictable life can be, especially for those living on the margins. Her story is a testament to human endurance. the skill of dedicated medical professionals, and the strange, sometimes horrifying ways nature can intersect with our lives. In a world where the ordinary can turn extraordinary in an instant, Selvi's experience stands out as a chilling reminder of the unexpected dangers lurking in the shadows. All our documentaries are based in facts and true stories around the world like this one. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more unbelievable stories from Bizarre Globe. Stay with us for the next bizarre true story around the world.